From synthhacker.com, and welcome back to another NI Massive tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to be making this new disco or kind of indie dance key sound. Really nice sound. I really like this, and just before making this sound completely from scratch and kind of explaining everything that's going on within the sound, I'll just quickly mention this is one of the key sounds from my massive preset pack, which you can check out in the link in the description below if you wish, or you can go to synthhacker.com and check that out as well. That contains 500 presets for Massive, all handcrafted by me, and it also includes a video course which goes through all the features within Massive and explaining kind of what each of the modules does, all the parameters, and just going really in depth into Massive. Especially, and that'd be really helpful if you're just getting into Massive or synthesis. Or even if you've used Massive quite a lot, it does go through like everything to do with Massive, so there's definitely something there to be learnt for everyone, really. So yeah, go check that out if you wish. Like I said, this key sound is included in that, and a lot of other key sounds as well, and lots of other sounds spanning multiple genres. There's some audio demos on there as well for you guys to check out. But without further ado, let's go ahead and initialize this patch here and begin making this really nice key sound from scratch. So in this video I'm going to be going over a lot of the theory behind creating a kind of key sound, and you can take a lot of this and kind of make it your own as well by using things like different wavetables, maybe using external effects, mess around with some different modulation and stuff like that. But essentially the principles in this video will apply to any key sound that you make with Massive. So the first thing we're going to do is go into the voicing tab here and make sure that our unison is set to 7 and that the voicing is set to polyphonic. This is essentially just so that we can play more than one note at the same time, which obviously you need to be able to do for key sounds. And we've also got unison set to 7 so that each oscillator is outputting 7 different voices every time a note is played. We're then going to click this pitch cutoff on button and move the slider slightly to the right. Essentially, this just controls the amount that the different voices that the unison is producing, the oscillators are producing, sorry, and how kind of detuned they are. And if you move this too far to the right, it will sound a bit too detuned and won't really be an accurate key sound, so we're just going to move this ever so slightly to the right just so it is just slightly detuned but still a solid sound. So moving into the oscillator section, we're just going to use one wavetable. We're just going to use this sine triangle wavetable, and we're just going to make sure that the wavetable position is all the way to the right here, just to make sure that we're just getting a triangle waveform. But what we're also going to do here is use one of the warp modes here, and we're going to use this bend plus warp mode. Now, if you're not aware what these do, all these different warp modes essentially pull or stretch or squash the waveform just to give it like different characteristics. And one thing that I found sounded really nice on the triangle waveform, just to give it a little bit more character and a little bit more kind of upper harmonics, was to use the bend plus mode, as I'll just demonstrate here. So if we compare that to when that's off, you can hear definitely that it adds a lot more upper harmonics, which is really nice. So a lot of people use those warp modes when creating like really aggressive bass sounds and automating this and stuff, but a lot of people forget that sometimes it can be really great for just giving you a lot of control over the harmonic content within other sounds as well. Just make sure that oscillator 1 is being routed to filter 1, and the next thing we're going to do is use an LFO to just create slight variations in pitch and slightly detune the oscillator over time, just using LFO. This kind of just gives it like a little bit of detune, which obviously sounds really nice on key sounds. just make sure that this restart button is off, because we don't want the LFO restarting every time a new note is pressed. And then we're going to bring the rate down just so that this is a slow kind of move in pitch. And it's not too noticeable, but it does add like a little bit of detune, which is really, really nice. The next thing we're going to do is dive into the modulation oscillator. We're going to pitch this up 2 octaves, so 24 semitones, and we're going to use, for this sound, we're going to use the ring modulation effect on oscillator 1. And ring modulation is, if you can kind of think of it kind of like tremolo, but as a modulation source, if that makes sense. So you'll hear the effect that this has. Really, really nice sound. We don't yet have the like key amplitude envelope, so it's hard to notice, but we will get into that in just a second. So the next thing we're going to do is move on to the filter section. We're not actually going to be using any of these inserts down here, or the noise oscillator or anything like that. And we're going to select this low pass 4-pole filter. And the next thing we are going to do is use an envelope which is going to be also the amplitude envelope, to modulate the cutoff of the low pass filter just a little bit. So we're going to bring the level down to about halfway. So this is essentially the sustain. This is really, really important when creating key sounds, and if you don't have any sustain on the sound, then technically it's not really a key sound, because a key sound, when you press it and hold it down, it should never end until you let go of it. So make sure that the level is about halfway. We do, however, want a little bit of decay, just to give kind of a bit of sharpness to the beginning of the sound. And we're going to increase the attack just a little bit, just to soften it up a little bit. And we're going to give the sound a little bit of release as well. And then we're simply just going to drag and drop this onto the cutoff of filter 1 and just move it up a little bit. Just make sure, like I did there, that you bring the resonance down as well. Bring the sustain up a little bit. So already we're getting really, really close to the sound that we're after. The next thing we're going to do is move into the effects section of Massive, and the first thing we're going to do is add this chorus effect. We really want this to be like quite subtle, but we just want to kind of fill out the sound a little bit, make it a bit thicker. So we're going to bring the rate right down and the dry wet right down now, and you'll hear that this makes it, gives it a little bit of warmth, a little bit of thickness to it. Really, really nice effect. And lastly, before we get onto the EQ, we're just going to use a pretty simple reverb. We're going to increase the size a bit, but we're going to bring the dry wet down. I'm going to increase the density, so we've got a nice thick reverb, and bring the colour down just to take some of the high end off the reverb. Really nice. And one thing that I did do for this preset, that I included in my preset pack, was just to bring down the high shelf a little bit, just to take some of the harshness out of it. And that's pretty much finished key sound. Really, really nice. Hopefully you got a lot of use out of this tutorial. It's just a really, really great way to make key sounds within Massive. And Massive is actually, I think, quite underrated for creating sounds like this. A lot of people consider Massive to be a staple for like really gritty bass tones and really harsh leads and stuff. But when used right, you can get some like really nice soft sounds like this one out, some really nice digital sounds, and I really, really like this key sound. So yeah, like I said, hopefully you got some use out of this tutorial. Hopefully you learned a thing or two, and hopefully you got a nice sound out of it as well. Feel free to create variations of this as well, maybe mess around with some different wavetables, maybe use some different effects, mess around with some of their modulation possibilities, and yeah. As I mentioned at the start of the video, guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and visit synthhacker.com. to check out my massive preset pack. There's 500 presets included in that, as I mentioned at the start of the video. Loads of soft sounds like this, but then other sounds spanning other genres like trance and house and electro house and tropical house, just all sorts. So go ahead and check out the audio demos at the link in the description below if you haven't already. And as I mentioned, that comes with a 1.5 hour video course as well, which I think you'll get a lot out of. If you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That really helps support me and helps the channel grow and helps me reach new people. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. And if you enjoyed the video and got some use out of it, please leave a like. And yeah, that pretty much covers it, guys. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.